Next up, we're going to look at Star Wars Outlaws. So this one is going to be released very soon as well. This is a work in progress at the moment, and it is part of the Ubisoft showcase that happened earlier this week. So it's the big promise of a Star Wars RPG open world game. It's been a long time coming for this one, and I'm sure the fans of the series will be really excited about it. So this is the studio beyond Assassin's Creed. We are now looking after the franchise, the Star Wars franchise, I think after EA Games. And that opens a lot of possibilities as well in terms of gameplay and for the studio to really, put their mark on it. Now, when it comes to playability, we will see a little bit how it looks in the video, but there is a lot of option there as well. So you will be able to customize your characters and to develop the ability a little bit like Assassin's Creed actually, and go on different bounty and different missions. Now, one of my slight and early concern is the very plot nature of the game. So I hope there is a real story behind it instead of just having this wide universe of planets and environments and missions to take and fetch, upgrade your character, and become the number one bounty hunter, so to speak, or outlaw in the universe. We will see, but I really hope there is a strong story behind it, and generally it's not always the case. So we will see what is the outcome of this, but the game looks beautiful. I think very true to the franchise, very true to the IP. The motion, so we will see in a minute. I think she feels a little bit light on her feet. There's not a lot of weight and gravity to the animation. It could be a little bit better. She has this little companion pet, I guess, or little character going with her, and she will be able to use it as a decoy or a distraction, so she can attack and distract the opponent as well. Now, what I really like is the fact that you can go in and out of your ship and leave the base of the camp or the planet where you are to go somewhere else. And it's almost seamless in terms of transition. So you go through your ship, you can sit down and take control of your ship, and now you can leave the previous station where you are. I think that's pretty cool. I think it looks pretty good. And there again, I do have the same criticism as for Indiana Jones, which is hyper-realistic environment and very kind of simplified character modelization. I'm not sure what is this with this, but it seems to be a strange trend instead of aesthetics. Yeah, I'm not sure. If you have any feedback on that, I'd be very curious to find out why this is happening, especially when you have renders or game engine like Unreal that are creating this kind of pixel and resolution management when you can have really high details and I don't know. I'm a bit surprised, but sure. Now, when it comes to Star Wars games, a long history of games, obviously, and long history of titles. Some really good, some less good than others. It feels always a little bit challenging to create a Star Wars game. There's, again, a lot of expectations. People want to have combat, people want to have Starfleet interaction, they want to explore planets, they want to be a Jedi, they want to be a Stormtrooper. There's a lot of different things that come into play. And it's hard to cater for an audience who have very different needs. And I think this RPG could be doing that pretty well. So I'm hopeful that it will bring all the players of Star Wars game together and give them the experience that they seek, with a little bit more agency, a little bit more flexibility in terms of gameplay, and give them the possibility to do a lot of different things. It feels really promising. I think it's gonna be a hit, to be honest, and it does have a strange feel of a Western, so it kind of tap into the Mandalorian a little bit in terms of I would say character and culture. It feels you can be this kind of dusty bounty hunter somewhere between Mandalorian and Han Solo, basically. And I think it's pretty cool. I really like that transition right there. You have you're going from hyperspace to that particular planet, and you're going to go through the different layers of the atmosphere to land down. So you have a notion of scale, which was missing from previous games. Now you have this as part of Star Wars Outlaws, which is again pretty cool, pretty visually stunning and immersive. And here we go now. The clouds will open in a minute, and you can land back into the planet. That is pretty cool, right? I mean, that works. Here we go, and now we can come back into that village and see what's going on, and I think it's Tatooine, isn't it? Yeah. So again, a lot of work and passion and sweat and blood invested into the modelization of this world that is so well known by the fan, so well cherished and loved by multiple generation of audience members, and it's a lot of pressure. I can imagine a lot of pressure on Ubisoft's shoulders to deliver a title of that scope. And I'm hoping, and this is pretty much what we saw with GTA as well, that it's going to be a base game that will have a lot of different DLCs and complementary missions and modes, and I think it will last for a while. I mean, definitely many years to come, a little bit like Hogwarts Legacy as well, with new updates. So I'm expecting things to actually be nurtured and enriched as a game experience as we go along. So Rigo, you're taking your kind of like motorbike speeder. I'm not sure of the terminology, but yeah, you go through different landscape and distances, so you can explore and roam the world a little bit. Now, slight criticism here has to do with the physics of the actual vehicle. For the speed it goes, it does stops quite abruptly. I think that could be a little bit more subtle. There's a little bit of physics that are in need of a little bit of curation, but again, this is a demo, so it's very likely that those little things have been noticed as well and changed ever since. I really like the prep on the characters and kind of like scanning the areas before going head first. It's always good. It's a good strategy. It pays off most of the time. And yeah, she will approach and use her little companion to distract some of the gods. Now, again, beautiful texturing and environment. I'm lacking a little bit of atmospherics on this. Also, you do have the sounds, etc., but it's not optical. So it means that this kind of omniscient perspective you have in almost third person, behind her basically, is not really, I would say, personalized or treated cinematically. It's very practical for gameplay, which is really fair and that makes sense, but it's not necessarily very immersive from a player perspective. I wish there was a little bit more care based on the look and the perspective of how the game is seen. Here, a lovely little punch from our lead character, very Uncharted, this kind of little rumble on the camera. You can feel the inspiration, and I believe there's a lot of cutscenes as well, or kind of scripted actions where the character, the players are just a little bit diminished to let space for more actions and more spectacle rather than just the player playing the action. So there will be some cool stuff happening, and that's quite likely to be in story mode. There will be, I think there will be a story mode and possibly a more kind of open world option. I mean, it will make sense. It will make sense. Cool, so we know this kind of puzzles for a long time now in the Star Wars universe. I like the fact that she can translate also different languages. I think it's quite cool and quite true to the point of the Star Wars culture. A little bit of light artifacting there, it's a little bit strange, but sure, okay. And then, okay, there again, another Cantina. And she will be under attack right there, so a little bit of embuscade, a little bit of hiding and shooting. I think it's cool. I think it looks great. I think the movement of the character are really smooth. I don't know if the AI is really responsive or not, but it looks good. I mean, it's convincing, right? I mean, yeah, I'll play that. I think it can be pretty badass as a game, and yeah, there's a lot to offer for sure. Then she will call a dragster or a little motorbike, and I think she will flee the scene as well in a minute. So that's something you can do. Your vehicle will follow you, and then you can escape. And you cutscene there. That is, I hope it's like this in the game. I hope it's that smooth and that intuitive. And there we go. So yeah, that is kind of Star Wars Outlaws and how the little game will look and feel like. I think there's a little bit of adjustment on the aesthetic, on the cinematic look of it. And the modelization, again, really good work on texturing and environmental. I think the characters are a little bit lacking details, a little bit of realism. The entire environment looks really credible and tangible and realistic. But the skin, the bone structure, all of this is a little bit on the down low from what the world is offering. Some, yeah, that's the choice again. A little bit of Red Dead Redemption homage, I would say, on that kind of Hegulai multi NPC shooting. And then, yeah, cool. Some really good scene there. That is convincing. I mean, personally, I will definitely try it, and I'm looking forward to hearing what other players will have to say about it. I think it's going to be pretty important for the franchise. Definitely important for Ubisoft, and kudos for the people who worked on it. I think it's a pretty good achievement, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see where this will go and how the game will grow over the years, for sure. All right.